My name is Oris. Could you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Bao Tran. You can call me Bao.
Thank you. Now let's begin. In this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. First, let's talk about TV programs. What kind of TV programs do you usually watch?
I mostly watch documentary channels like National Geographic and Discovery. I'm really fascinated by the natural world and how things work. I also catch some comedy shows from time to time, just to unwind after a long day.
Interesting. Now let's move on to technology. How often do you use electronic devices, like your phone or computer?
Oh, constantly, I would say. I use my computer for work every day, preparing lectures and researching, and my phone is practically attached to me for checking emails and staying in touch with my family. I'm actually thinking about trying a digital detox, maybe over the weekend.
That's a good idea sometimes. Now let's switch gears to dreams. Do you remember your dreams often?
Not really, no. Most mornings I wake up and it's just blank. Occasionally I might recall a fragmented memory of something strange, but it disappears by the time I'm having my coffee. My wife, though, she has really vivid dreams all the time.
I see. Do you think dreams have meanings?
That's an interesting question, but honestly, I'm not sure. Some people believe they reflect our subconscious thoughts, things we're worried about or desire. Others say they're just random firings in the brain during sleep. I tend to lean more towards the latter, though it's fun to think about.
I see. Now we move on to part 2. I'll give you a topic to talk about for 1 to 2 minutes. You'll have 1 minute to prepare first. Ready?
Yes, I understand.
Great. Here's your topic. Describe a time you used your cell phone to do something important. You now have 1 minute to prepare. I'll tell you when to start. Start speaking now.
I remember this one particular morning when my cell phone saved me. It was an absolute lifesaver. I was actually running late for a very important meeting at the university. It was the final presentation for a research project, and the faculty head was expected to be present. Of course, that was the day Hanoi decided to unleash this torrential rainstorm. I was stuck in traffic, on my motorbike, naturally, under my little rain poncho, and I realized I had left my USB drive with the presentation back at home. I felt completely panicked. Thankfully, I had backed up copies on my cloud storage. So right there on the side of the road in the pouring rain, I used my phone to access the files, download them, and then email them to my colleague who was already on campus. She was able to set it up just in time. I managed to get to the meeting with about 2 minutes to spare, looking quite disheveled, but with the presentation ready. That moment really highlighted to me how indispensable our phones have become for managing crucial tasks, even when things go completely wrong. Without it, I would have probably missed the presentation, which would have been a disaster for my work.
Thank you. Do you think you could do without your phone for a whole day?
I'd like to think I could. Theoretically, yes, I could manage, especially if it was a weekend and I had planned for it. I could read a book, go for a walk, or spend time with family without constant distractions. However, if it was a work day, it would be extremely challenging due to work communications and information access. It makes you realize how reliant we are.
Good point. Now let's talk about other uses. Are there other important things you use your phone for, besides that presentation, for example?
Definitely. Besides work, my phone is crucial for navigating unknown places with maps, which is very helpful when I'm exploring new parts of Hanoi. It's my main way of capturing memories with photos and videos. Plus, I rely on it for banking and keeping track of my schedule. It really functions as a personal assistant, particularly in Hanoi's chaotic traffic. I also use it constantly for banking, paying bills, and managing my schedule. It's essentially a portable command center for both personal and professional life, even for things like watching news clips while I have breakfast.
Do you think there should be a law to stop people from making phone calls in public?
I think a law would be too strict, but there certainly should be socially accepted guidelines. Making loud calls in very public, quiet spaces can be very disruptive for others, It's really about being considerate. Perhaps designated quiet zones in places like public transport or libraries could be a solution? What do you think?
Right. And what are some of the differences between young people and old people when using a cell phone?
Generally, older people tend to use their phones more for basic communication, like voice calls, possibly some texting, or just checking news. Typically, young people are using much more advanced features, social media apps, streaming content, online gaming, or managing their entire lives online. It really comes down to comfort levels with new technology. My parents, for example, stick mostly to phone calls.
That's interesting. Between those two, which one do you think is more important? Using a cell phone to make phone calls or to read messages?
That really depends on the context, but generally, messaging provides a flexible written record, which is incredibly useful for conveying specific details or when you need to communicate without interrupting someone. Phone calls, though, are better for immediacy, resolving complex issues quickly through direct conversation or conveying emotion. I would say both are equally vital, but serve different purposes. If I had to choose, messaging probably prevails in daily life for efficiency.
Thank you. That is the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Thank you.